Hello, friends.
Hello, friends. It's Mal with Made by Manny and Mal. And if you can guess who this is, it's Manny.
It's Manny. Woo! I'm Manny.
Manny's finally in a video with me after everybody and everyone asking who Manny is. This is Manny. Manny is my mom, and she is obviously part of Made by Manny and Mal. So today, I finally got her to agree to come on YouTube and make a video with me after begging her to. So in today's video, we're going to be making a wreath. She specializes in wreaths and kind of home decor, like wall hangers and door hangers and hangers.
We're just hanging around.
So today we're going to be making a wreath. I picked out some stuff and I said, Mom, make me a wreath. And she said, okay. So, what?
Anything for you.
So we're going to be doing that today. So I hope that you enjoy. If you do, make sure you give it a big ol' thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed, of course. If you like the video, make sure you let us know. And if you want us to do more videos like this, make more wreaths, do other kind of DIY crafty type stuff, let me know in the comments and we will definitely do that for you. What else?
Let's go.
Let's go. So we're starting with a 22-inch, just like regular Christmas tree wreath form. We got this at Walmart. We're going to start by just like fluffing it up, and then we're going to go in with our first Deco Mesh. This is plaid Deco Mesh. It's 10 inches long, and it's from Michaels, and it's not good. Don't get this one. It's not good. I love the color scheme, though. I did not know it was going to be such a hassle.
So we're going to start by pinching the end of the Deco Mesh, and then we're going to measure about 8 to 10 inches to make our first loop. So we're going to take that pinched end and we're going to put it between two pine branches. Then we're going to twist and twist until it's secured.
So this is exactly like a little like twist tie that you would put on like a loaf of bread. So once your first end is secured, you're going to take about 8 to 10 inches and pull like a little kind of bubble. See, this mesh sucks. It gets caught to itself. I don't like it. Anyway, so you're going to take about that much and just kind of bubble it up like Manny's doing here. Make a little loopy bubble, and then you're going to find another spot on the wreath and do the exact same twist tie pattern to secure that down. So find two little branches and then just twist them until that piece of the mesh is secured.
So we're going to continue that. We'll make those little bubbles until we have about 8 to 10 going all the way around the wreath, and we'll meet back at that first twisty tie.
And as you go around the wreath, make sure you're doing a lot of fluffing. Like every time you make a little bubble or loof, kind of fluff it out. Fluff it out. Every loof you make, floof it out. Okay, that's the rule. So here's another angle of the twist tie method. It's really easy. I was really confused at first, but it's really easy once you get it. So there we go, floof your loof.
So when you've reached the end, you're going to cut off the excess of the mesh, and then you're going to take that little tie or tail and tuck it back and twist it between two pine needles, pine branches in the back.
Basically the exact same thing that you did securing the end to the front of the wreath. You're going to do that same method to secure that excess end tail to the back of the wreath so it's not like sticking out. And then we're going to go in with our second Deco Mesh. So this one is from Hobby Lobby, and it's much better than the Michaels brand. It's this really cute kind of burlappy feel with some cute little white detailing. It's really cute. I want to put it on a cup.
So we're going to take that and you're going to do the exact same thing. So if you can, you'll want to try to find that first point where you secured your first round of mesh. And you can just untwist it and then put this end in there as well and retwist it. If you don't want to do that, you can start at a new point. It's just a lot easier to have them all in the same place. But essentially what you're going to do is the same twist tie method. But with this one, we're going to kind of work on the outside of the wreath and then kind of bring it back to the inside. You'll see what I mean here. But this just gives it a little bit more kind of body, builds it up on the outside, and gives it a more interesting kind of look.
So essentially you'll go between the two bubbles. You'll secure it at the bottom, and then you'll go up to the top between the two bubbles and secure it at the top. Then you'll go to the bottom in between the next two bubbles, making a bubble each time you go.
And you'll just continue to like zigzag up, through the inside, then you'll zigzag to the outside. You can totally, if you wanted to, just do this on the outside, keep all of your bubbles on the outside, or you can keep all of your bubbles on the inside. This is where you can kind of make it your own and make it whatever you want it to be. We just like this inside outside kind of deal. Makes it more fun.
I'm gonna have to put on that second roll of mesh. That was just Mallory's preference for the wreath. She had to make it more difficult.
Yeah, so if you want to just do one type of mesh, you can do that. If you wanted to even add 3 different types of mesh, you can do one on the outside, one in the middle, one on the inside. Whatever you want to do, you can totally personalize and customize this just using the same technique throughout all of your layers.
Okay, so you'll just continue that until you get to the back of the wreath again, to where we started, and you can cut off the excess, tie the tail in the back with the other tail. So we've reached the end, and I've cut off the excess, and I'll show you in the back of the wreath here how we secured it. So you turn it over, take both those ties, and secure them with 2 pine branches. Twisty tie.
And after you've done those little twisty ties, you'll just take those 2 ends of the pine branches that you used and kind of tuck them underneath those points so that you don't have any pokey branches or bits hanging out. And then we're going to loof and floof. Here we go, floofing it out. And now we're ready. We're done with our mesh, so we're going to now move on to the ribbon. These are the 3 types of ribbon I picked. You don't have to use 3, but I wanted to use 3. These are from Michaels and Hobby Lobby, combo of the 2. And we're going to cut, for each type of ribbon, we're going to cut about 10 pieces that are about 10 to 12 inches long. I think we settled on 11. Now we cut 10 of each, but you definitely don't need that much. We just wanted to make sure that we had enough. It's all about creating a really nice volume with your ribbon. Like, this is going to add a lot of body to your wreath. So you can add really as much or as little as you would like, but we cut 10 of each color.
So now what we need to do is dovetail the ends of each piece of ribbon, which means we want it to be pointy on the edges, on the ends. Make sure you fold it in half and cut from the center to the corners and angle it.
So just make sure that your angle is right. I seem to always mess this up. I always want to cut the other way. It's like the most simple thing ever, but like, don't cut that way, cut this way. Yes. So make sure that when you're cutting, you're going to have 2 different points like that. So here, I'm going to show you what I always do. You're looking for this, but I always seem to go like this and cut it the wrong way. And then you end up with this like pointed ribbon, which is totally fine if that's the look you're going for, but we're going for dovetailing. So make sure you get it right.
Okay, so once you've cut all your ribbon, you have those 10 pieces. You're going to go through and dovetail each piece. You can put 2 together, 3 together if you can manage that. That's fine. And get it all done, and then they'll all be dovetailed and ready to go.
And if you're doing this with a partner, you can make a little game out of this dovetailing. You can cut your ends into somebody else's hand. Manny did all the work here, and I just distracted her, basically. Whoops, she missed. Anyway, So once you're done dovetailing, you should have all of your ribbon that looks like this. And we're going to move right on to the next ribbon. This pumpkin ribbon is what inspired this entire wreath design. This one is from Michaels, and I was just obsessed with it the minute I saw it. So we are going to cut 10 pieces of that, exactly like the first one, 11 inches long, and then we're going to dovetail all of those ends. And then once we're done with that, you guessed it, we're going to go on to our last ribbon, which is this kind of plaid and olive green, dark green split. And we're doing the exact same thing, except this time I chimed in and actually helped. I dovetailed while Manny cut. So here's all of our ribbon ready to go. So we're going to organize these pieces of ribbon by color, obviously. So we're going to have 3 piles of ribbon. And what you want to do is decide which one is going to be like your base color. I picked the pumpkin one because it's my favorite. So basically what we're doing with the ribbon is you're going to make these little bundles of 2 colors, and then you'll put them inside the wreath. So the base color gets used in every single bundle. So basically your base color is the one that you want to be seen or used the most in your wreath.
Okay, so you'll take 2 pieces of ribbon, put them on top of each other, pinch them in the middle, then put them between 2 of the Deco Mesh loops using the pine branch, and just twist tie them again. So the pumpkin ribbon is the base ribbon. Then you'll use the other green ribbon that you didn't use in the first ribbon bundle and secure that one in between 2 of the Deco Mesh loops. So continue adding those ribbon bundles, alternating with each green ribbon and the pumpkin ribbon. Continue all the way around the wreath until you meet back at the top. And it should be about 12 bundles, I would say, maybe 10 to 12 bundles.
And just remember to like spread out and kind of floof out your ribbon as you go to make sure that you can see all of those different colors and that they're not just on top of each other. So you can see here, Manny, when she puts the bundle in, she, kind of separates that ribbon and pulls it apart. So it looks kind of almost like a little bow in between those Deco Mesh loops. Loof and floof, y'all. Loof and floof. Always. Forever. Okay?
So once you've finished adding all the ribbon, you want to make sure you have the best part of the wreath at the top before you start adding any embellishments.
If you don't want to add any embellishments or anything, you can totally be done at this point and your wreath will look complete. But we're extra, so we're going to add some more stuff to this thing. So right here we've got some little pumpkins, some leaves, and all of that. And what we're going to do now is make the main embellishment. So we got this little buffalo check pumpkin at Hobby Lobby. And I think it's just like a little door hanger, but we took the little hanger off and now we're gonna drill a hole on each side of the pumpkin. Make sure you're doing this safely. This is not the best safety practice. Just protect your thumbs, okay? So I'm gonna set that aside and now we're gonna work on all of these other little embellishments on the wreath.
So let me just say, before I started gluing, I laid everything out on my wreath to get an idea of how it might look after it was glued in. So then I took it off the wreath and just went around. I put everything to the side of the ribbon that I wanted it to go into. So what you're doing is gluing inside the middle of those little ribbon bows to hide where they were secured. Since Mel wanted fall wreath, I went and I found some pumpkins and some pine cones and some flowers that basically matched the color within the wreath. So we have some leaves and some berries and all types of little things that will go in there to add to the beauty of this wreath.
So you can really throw anything into your wreath. You can do, if you're doing like a sports themed wreath, you can put all your little sports stuff in there. There's really no limit or rule to what you can put on a wreath to make it really cool and interesting. So once we've got all of the embellishments glued down, and we're just using hot glue, by the way, nothing spectacular or special, we're going to make a bow for the top of the wreath. So Manny's taking here about 13-ish inches of ribbon. You don't have to measure, you just want a long piece. And she's going to fold it over so it makes a little loop on the one side, and then she's going to pinch it closed and kind of bring up another loop from the other side and pinch that together. Hopefully that makes sense of what she's doing on the screen here, but it's starting to look like a bow, kinda. And then she's gonna cut off the excess, so she's got a little bit of a little strand on each end. And then we're going to bring in the next color ribbon. So for this bow, we're gonna use all of the different colors, all 3 ribbons. And basically what she's doing is holding that one first bow that she made together, and then she's going to repeat the exact same like bow making process to just continue to like build this bow up. And this is kind of almost like when you tie your shoes, like you make those 2 little bunny ears and then you tie them together, except in this case, she's making the 2 bunny ears and then just pinching them together. So we're gonna have a like 3-layered bow, if that makes sense. So here she's got the plaid one, and then she's gonna bring in the pumpkin one before we secure it all together so she doesn't have to pinch it forever. You know what I mean?
Of course, it's totally your preference. If you want to just use 1 color ribbon, that's fine too. If you want to use 2, that's fine, but I chose to use all 3. So now I'm going to add the pumpkin ribbon. Same process, just pinch like you're tying your shoes and then get another little loop. So if this is difficult for you to hold all these ribbons together, you can definitely use maybe like a little chip clip or something like that to hold each individual bunch. And then when you've got them all the sizes that you want them to be, then you can put them together and pinch them all together. So I'm struggling a little bit to get this last loop, but so it's not easy, but it can be done. So I finally got it. Now I'm trimming it, and then I'm going to secure it with a large zip tie because then I can get it really tight and secure.
You can also, if you wanted to, you can also invest in one of those little bow maker things. It makes making bows super easy. But if you don't want to buy one of those, you can make them by hand, just how we do. We don't have a bow maker, and Manny just makes all of the bows by hand. So either way, whatever makes it easier for you. So once she's got this secured with the zip tie, you want to make sure that you have everything lined up and kind of adjusted before you pull the zip tie super tight, just to make sure you have everything where you want it. And then she's going to take some wire cutters and cut the zip tie down so we don't have that big tail hanging out. And then we're going to take a piece of the ribbon, just whatever color ribbon you want to use. We're just using the plain green here. She's going to take it and hide that zip tie and just tie it around the center to make it look kind of like a complete actual tied together bow.
Make sure you purchase wired ribbon because it's easily adjustable. And of course I have to play with this to get it to look exactly the way I want it to look. So you fluff it and twist it and move it around until it looks like the bow that you want it to be. And of course at some point we're going to dovetail the ends so it'll all be cohesive and look like the little bundles of ribbon.
Yeah, so yeah, just make sure that you buy, like she said, wired ribbon. If you buy just regular ribbon, it's going to be really hard to kind of mold it and make it look the way you want it to. It'll kind of just like sag. You know, the wired ribbon really gives it a lot of structure. So once we're done with the bow, we're going to move on to our little buffalo check pumpkin. I cut out this super cute Hey Pumpkin decal. This is from Beck McCormick, and I just did a really thin offset. I tried to match the colors that are in the wreath. And I put that on there, and now we're back to attaching the ribbon. So we're kind of doing this in different steps and stages. I'm sorry if it's confusing. We're working on this together, but separately. So what we're doing now, we're taking some picture hanging wire.
So I'm adding the wire by slipping it through the knot, basically in the back of the ribbon of the bow, so that I can secure this bow to the wreath. And it's not going to go anywhere.
You can also, if you don't want to do this whole picture hanging wire thing, you can, if you wanted to, just hot glue the bow to your wreath. That is an option. Either way will totally work fine. So what she did, we've got 2 long edges or ends of the picture hanging wire. You want to make sure you leave it long enough to wrap all the way around your wreath. So what she's doing here is taking that wire and kind of tucking it in between those little branches and kind of sliding it in so that it's secured to the wreath and that those ends are going to come out on the other side. I know this is really hard to kind of see with everything going on in this wreath, but you really want to bring just those two edges kind of through the wreath, from the front to the back. So you'll have those two pieces of wire poking out from the back.
So once we've pulled them through to the back, we're going to twist tie them again, just like we did the bubble mesh. Twist it and twist it, but make sure that you put the ends in so it's not going to scratch your door when you're hanging this wreath on your door. You want those ends tucked away so you won't get any scratches.
Or it won't poke your fingers. You don't want to poke your fingers with this stuff because it's really sharp and it's kind of painful. Don't ask me how I know.
So once you have it on and it's in the position you want it to be, and then you just fluff out those bows and make sure it's full and pretty.
Yeah, so then I took that decal like we put on the pumpkin. I added another little kind of rose gold vinyl pumpkin on there, and I sealed this with a coat of UV resin so it'll be protected. The vinyl is sealed and we're good to go. And we're going to use that same picture hanging wire to secure this to the wreath. Now we're going to put it on the front surface of the wreath, kind of off to the side on the bottom. If you wanted to put this into the middle, as the centerpiece of the wreath, you can do that too. It's just harder with these smaller pieces. They kind of will sag sometimes or be really far to the back of the wreath, and it's a little bit more difficult to get them to lay centered and where you want it. But I really wanted this pumpkin to be a prominent feature right in the front anyway, so we're just going to secure it here down kind of on the bottom middle-ish area. And what Manny did, she just looped that wire through the hole and then twisted it around each other to secure it. And then she's going to bring all of these 4 pieces around to the back and secure them essentially the same way that she did the bow. So she's going to twist these really, really tight. These are the 2 side wires. And then she's going to repeat the same process, kind of weaving the top and the bottom wires through to the back. And then we're trying to hide these wires here, with the leaf, bringing it to the front so you don't see too much of them. And then she's just going to twisty tie and kind of loop all 4 wires together so it's really secure and it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, we originally were going to put it in the center. That's why we drilled 4 holes, but it was falling to the back. So that's why we switched it up and changed it to go onto the side of the wreath, which it really looks cuter there anyway. I like it much better. So after we've secured that pumpkin, we're still twisting. We're going to trim those wires, tuck them into the wreath again so they won't scratch your door. Once that's all done, the final step, we're going to add a little pipe cleaner so that you can hang this wreath from your door or on a hanger on your wall or wherever you want it to be displayed. So I just take it, I tied a little knot on one end, and then I will loop it over to the other side and make sure that it's big enough so it will hang properly, and then you can adjust it even with the pipe cleaner because it's bendy. You can make it hang any way you want it to, basically. So I just tied a knot on both sides, and there you go.
So that's the wreath all completed. I am absolutely obsessed with it. I know that we're kind of moving out of fall and into the winter vibe kind of, but I'm hanging this up because I'm still feeling fall. I want it to last forever. So I hope that you liked the video. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. And I want to say a big thank you to Manny, my mom, for making this wreath with me in a YouTube video. It's a really big deal for her to agree to come on camera and do all of this stuff. So if you enjoyed this video, if you would like to see more wreath videos and more DIY type stuff, especially with Manny, my mom, let me know down in the comments and let me know what you think of this wreath down there as well. And I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any new videos. We upload every single Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Okay, love you guys.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Hello, friends. Hello, friends. This is Manny. And I am the maker and part owner, the silent part. Okay, I'm gonna play my game.
Oh my gosh. Felicia, are you ready? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.